So another thing that I kind of wanted to help out with as far as like with your stats. Now, I have another video on how to build your own stat sheet and how to add formulas. Now, another thing that kind of saves time is being able to have your stat sheet be able to pull information from another file. So let's say you have a file that has all the soldiers that you've re-enlisted. And instead of counting them one by one, or using a pivot table, having Excel automatically count them for you. So the way this works is, and you can do it within the same worksheet, you can do it in another worksheet. Now, if you notice right here, it asks that this workbook contains links to one or more external sources, because this stat sheet that I have right here is, and this is just a stat sheet that I use within my unit. This stat sheet's connected to another Excel that I have. Actually, it's one that comes from the database. Now, if I hit update, since that file is not open, I'm going to get an error. I'm going to hit update, and it's going to come up with these errors. So the way to be able to have that happen, now, again, you can do this either if you have like the information in the same Excel file. You could do it that way, or you can connect it to another Excel. Now, to do that, a lot of people don't realize you can do that. And I'm going to kind of show you how it works. So here's my stat sheet example. And again, if you want to learn how to make this stat sheet to where it counts and it comes up, changes green, blue, it does your glide path, all that good stuff. That's in another video. And again, I'll make this available to anybody who wants to use it and plagiarize it in order to use it for their own mission. So I have a file that that the database makes. So if you come to your stat sheet and let's say you inputted all your files and everything, you put your re-ups, you viewed all the information here, and let's say you don't want to use the stat builder that the database does, which in all honesty I don't really use it. It's kind of more of just a tool if you don't have your own stat sheet and you want to make one real quick. But if you already have a stat sheet, maybe you use the one that I gave you, or you have your own, and you have all the information in the database. If you hit export all data, all your FY and quarter re-ups, all of them are pushed out in a file to your quick report folder. And we'll go right there. Your quick report folder, it's called all stat data. So I'm going to open that, and if you can see on here now, of course I erased some information, but right here, it's all, this is my quarter stats information, everybody who re-enlisted for the quarter mission, and everybody who I re-enlisted for the FY mission, my RC comp, RC confirm, and the cross tab is just the numbers. So this is my quarter mission for the whole battalion, and this is by company. This is my FY by battalion, by company. What else? My RC comp by battalion, my RC comp by company, RC confirm by battalion, RC. You get the idea. So to connect this to this, you just need an Excel formula. So the Excel formula for that, now obviously you can see that as soon as I open this file, this all stat data file, it automatically updated this stuff, because before I had an error, or it just was showing number signs. Now, in order for it to have this, the first thing is you're going to need to have this information, your troop or your company information or your battalion information, however you do your stat sheet, you have to have it labeled the same way as you put in the database, because the database is going to push it out like that. So I'm going to go to my quarter stat information right here. Okay, and so what I'm going to do, the first thing is this information here represents every soldier that's re-enlisted. These are my accomplishments. So if I want this database to count that, what I want to do is I'm going to come here to the accomplished, and I'm going to put equal to. Now for the quarter mission, you're going to use a formula called IFS, or correction, COUNTIFS. Now count IF or count if is if you're only doing one criteria. count IFS is if you're doing more than one. So as you can see, I have it right there. I'm gonna just click on that, and it's gonna do the parentheses. Then it's gonna ask for the range. So since the range is not in this file or in another book in this file, I want everybody that's in, right now I'm working on alpha battery, so I want everybody, and that again falls by company. So I'm going to highlight this whole thing, and if you notice, once I highlighted it, it named the Excel file, it named the sheet, and it named the actual row, which was this whole row. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a comma, and then here, and right now it's kind of not letting me, but let me try to make this bigger. I want it to be I want it to actually be Bravo 9 because that's where the troop information is. So since I can't see it or I can't select it, I'm going to just type Bravo 9, hit comma. Now the other criteria is this is under initial. So for initial, I need to, again, I'm going to highlight the whole term for the next criteria. I'm going to put a comma, and then since this is initial, I'm going to put, and you might be able to see it right up here, I'm going to put quotation, and that's just basically letting it know I'm looking for something that's text. I'm not looking for a number. I'm going to put 1 and then another quotation. Now since those are the only two criteria I'm looking for, I'm going to close this. So I'm going to close that parentheses, I'm going to hit enter, and now it automatically counts how many soldiers I have that were initial term soldiers that were in Alpha Troop. And the way you got Alpha Troop was because I selected Bravo 9, which was this cell. Now Excel has this really cool way of, if you copy and paste it, it's going to kind of, as long as the information is laid out the same, it's going to kind of pull that same information. So if I right click and I hit copy, paste, 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 I highlight and then I hit paste, it's gonna pull all that information because everything's kind of laid out correctly. Now if I had like alpha troops information here and then Bravo troops information here, it might not work because of how it's laid out. Then again, if you're not sure about it, then you'll just have to put the code in individually each of these cells. So for here, it's going to be kind of the same concept. Here equal to count IFS, and then I'm open the parentheses. I'm going to select this whole Charlie cell or this whole Charlie column because that's where all the companies are. I'm going to hit comma, and then the company I'm looking for in particular is, and now I can actually highlight it because I can see it, Bravo 9. Hold on, I didn't do it. Bravo 9. All right, and then I'm going to do comma again, and I'm going to select term because now we're looking for mids. And once it's done that, I'm going to do comma, quotation 2. Whoops. Yeah, no, that's right. Quotation 2. Another quotation, then I'm going to close it. Enter. Again, I'm going to copy, and then while holding control, I'm going to select all these cells. I'm not going to do the total because that won't work. And then paste, and there we go. And so then finally now again, keep in mind that if I make any changes, so like let me see if I find a midterm soldier. So if I do a midterm soldier, like let's say hypothetically if, so this guy's a mid. If I delete this, this guy's in Echo Troop, if you see right here he's in Echo Troop. If I delete this, this went down to 6 and Echo Troop went from 3 to 2. So it's already linked to this thing. So if I undo that, if I hit this undo over here, you're going to see, and it adds that mid-career soldier, you're going to see this jump up to 7, and you're going to see Echo Troops accomplishments go to 3. So let me undo, and there it goes. Popped up. So it's linked to this. Now again, it's only going to be linked to this as long as this Excel is open when you open this one. So for example, so I'm going to close this. I'm not going to save it because I already have the formulas in there. So like, let's say I have this closed. Don't save. Let me go back to the stat sheet. So if I go to the stat sheet, it's going to give me that option again. Now if I hit update, that means that it's going to try to look for that file. If that file's not open, it's going to get that error. If I hit don't update, it's just going to leave the data that's in there. So I'm going to put don't update, and then you're going to see me open up that all stat data, and it's going to kind of load. So watch me do that again. Don't save. Come over here and open that stat sheet. Oh, wait, that's not going to work. Save. Close this. So if I open this, if I hit update, again, it's gonna come up with all these errors. It's not going to show anything because the Excel that this thing is connected to is not open, so it can't read the information. The moment that I open it, this information is going to get updated. And there it is. Now, as far as for the aggregate or even the RC, those don't require whether or not it's mid or careerist or initial. It just, as long as the soldier reenlisted. So for those, so here's an example. So for FY, and we'll use this guy as an example. For him, I don't need count IFS. I just need count IF. And that way it's only looking for one range and one criteria. And for this, I'm looking for company again. And then I'm going to do comma. And then again, I'm just going to come all the way over here to the right and do, this was Bravo. And then close. And there. Just like that. So when it comes to aggregate and you're not trying to find two criteria, all you're just trying to do is count how many reenlisted within that company, then all you have to do is set the criteria for that company. When it comes to the quarter, you're looking by company and by term. So that's where you need the count IFS. But for aggregate or RC, you just need the count IF formula. Now again, I know this could be kind of confusing, so if you have any questions, again, email me, give me a call, whatever. But this is kind of an easy way, so that way every time you want to update your stats and you do it in the database, all you have to do is really just open your stat sheet and then update this all stat data from the database and open it, and it'll update your stat sheet for you. It's just another tool to help out. And yeah, pretty simple.